Ladies and gentlemen, today I, Thomas Jefferson, stand before you to share my thoughts on the ratification of the Constitution. As a firm believer in the principles of liberty, individual rights, and the sovereignty of states, I find myself compelled to express my concerns and reservations about this proposed form of government. While I acknowledge the efforts of my esteemed colleagues who have passionately argued in favor of the Constitution through the Federalist Papers, I cannot overlook the potential dangers that lie within its provision. The concentration of power in a centralized government raises questions about the preservation of individual freedoms and the ability of the states to govern themselves. My dear fellow citizens, let us not forget the lessons we learned from our fight for independence. We waged a war against tyranny and oppression, seeking to establish a government that respects the inherent rights of its people. The proposed Constitution, in its current form, may jeopardize those hard-won liberties. I fear that the absence of a Bill of Rights leaves us vulnerable to the encroachment of the federal government on our essential freedoms. We must ensure that the rights of the people are explicitly protected, for without such safeguards, we risk repeating the very tyranny we sought to escape. Furthermore, the powers granted to the federal government under this Constitution raise concerns about the potential for consolidation and the erosion of state sovereignty. Our nation is vast and diverse, and the needs and desires of its citizens vary from region to region. It is essential that the states retain their autonomy to govern themselves in matters not explicitly delegated to the federal government. I implore you, my fellow citizens, to approach the ratification of the Constitution with caution and deliberation. Let us engage in thoughtful discourse and demand the inclusion of a Bill of Rights that guarantees our fundamental freedom. Let us ensure that the voice of the people resonates within the halls of power and that our government remains grounded in the principles of liberty, justice, and self-governance. As we move forward, let us remember that the strength of our nation lies in the active participation and vigilance of its citizens. It is our duty to hold our government accountable and to safeguard the rights and liberties for which we have fought so valiantly. In conclusion, my fellow Americans, let us not rush to embrace this Constitution without due consideration of its potential implications. We must strive for a government that truly represents the will of the people and respects the rights of individuals and states. Together, we can shape a nation that upholds the ideals of liberty, justice, and self-determination. Thank you, and may the spirit of freedom guide us in this important decision.